The year my wife, Iris, landed a coveted residency slot in G-City. It came with a family sponsorship, a spot for her spouse and child to come with her. Everyone assumed she'd give that spot to me and our son. We'd been married for 5 years, and she'd always promised to give our child the best education possible. But on the day the official list was posted, the family members sponsored on her residency were her ex-husband and his son. His son is about to apply for college. He needs this residency status more urgently than you do, Iris said. Our son is only in elementary school, she argued. Waiting a few years won't make a difference. So, she got me an application for the points-based residency program instead. She promised, as soon as his son is done with college applications, I'll take care of yours. But 6 months later, I emigrated to Paris with my son. The next time we spoke, Iris saw my son's Europe passport and had a complete breakdown. How could you not wait for me? We were supposed to be a family, to be together. I saw the residency sponsorship list during my lunch break at work. A coworker had posted the link in our group chat, congratulating Iris on finally landing a cushy government job. I clicked on it and scanned the names meticulously, from top to bottom, then from bottom to top again. In the column for sponsored family members, 2 names were written crystal clear: Thomas Crane and Cody. Thomas Crane, Iris's ex-husband. Cody,
Thomas Esson.
my son Sam, wasn't on the list. I wasn't on the list. Blood rushed to my head, and my ears started ringing. I grabbed my phone, bolted out of the office, and hid in the stairwell to call Iris. The phone rang for a long time before she picked up. The background was noisy with chatter, and I could hear someone shouting, "Congratulations, Iris." "Hello, Leo, what's up? I'm kind of busy right now." Iris's voice was laced with impatience. "Iris, I have a question for you. What the hell is going on with the residency list?" "What do you mean? It was approved. I'm celebrating with my colleagues." "I'm asking you why Thomas and his son are listed as your sponsored family." I couldn't control my volume, my voice echoing in the empty stairwell. The line went silent for a few seconds. "Lower your voice. What are you yelling about?" she hissed. "I'll explain it to you later." "Explain it to me now. Are you telling me you have no intention of getting residency for me and our son?" "There you go again," she said, her impatience turning to irritation. "Didn't I tell you? Thomas's son, Cody, is about to apply to college. This residency is the most important thing for him right now. Could affect his entire future. And what about my son? Is Sam not your son anymore? Is he never going to go to school? Sam's just in elementary school. What's the big deal about waiting a few years? Can't you be a little more reasonable and understand what's actually important?" I was so angry I had to laugh. "Important? So in your mind, your ex-husband's son is more important than our son. Is that it? Why are you being so irrational? Thomas and I are over. I'm just helping him out for old time's sake. Besides, I'm doing this for Cody. He's such a good student. It would be a tragedy if he couldn't get into a good university because of his residency status." "A tragedy? Iris, you begged me to marry you, promising you'd give me and our child a better life, the best educational opportunities for Sam. Is this what you meant by the best? Giving my son's spot to your ex-husband's kid? When did I say I wouldn't get you residency?" She started to backtrack. "I already got you the application for the points-based program. As soon as Cody's college applications are in, I'll immediately file for you too. It's all planned out, isn't it? The points-based program? Iris, do you have any idea how long that waitlist is? We'll be waiting until God knows when. You have a family sponsorship slot right now, ready to go. But this is a special circumstance. Can't you be a little considerate? I work so hard out there for this family. Can't you just give me a break? Give you a break? You're out on the town with your ex and his son, celebrating your wonderful new life, while I'm at home trying to explain to our child why his mother doesn't want him anymore. What kind of nonsense are you talking about? When did I ever say I don't want Sam? Your actions speak louder than your words." I heard a man's voice in the background ask, "Iris? Who is it? Come on, it's time to cut the cake." It was Thomas. Iris's tone immediately softened, as if trying to soothe me while simultaneously placating him. Okay, I'm really busy. I can't talk anymore. Stop overthinking things. I'll explain everything when I get home tonight. With that, she hung up. I stood there in the stairwell, phone buzzing with the dead line, a chill running through my body. I'd been the frog boiling in a pot for 5 years, and I'd finally felt the water get hot. I didn't go home. I took a cab straight to my mother-in-law's apartment. If Iris wouldn't tell me the truth, her mother definitely knew. When I arrived, my mother-in-law was sitting in the living room, munching on sunflower seeds and watching TV, a cheerful expression on her face. When she saw me, her smile faded slightly. "Leo, what are you doing here at this hour? Aren't you supposed to be at work?" "I'm here to ask about the residency, Mom," I said, getting straight to the point. My mother-in-law spit out a seed husk and spoke slowly. "Oh, that. Didn't Iris tell you?" "She did. She said she's giving the spot to Thomas's son because he's applying to college." "Well, there you have it," she said, pulling the tray of seeds closer to herself. "Iris already explained it to you. Why are you running over here to ask me?" Her attitude was so matter-of-fact, without a trace of guilt. The fire in my gut burned even hotter. "Mom, Sam is your grandson. Who's Cody? What does he have to do with our family? Why should he get to take my son's spot? What kind of talk is that?" "Take?" Iris gave it to him willingly, my mother-in-law said, her eyes widening. "Besides, that Cody is a pitiable child. Grew up without a mother, and it's not easy for Thomas to raise him all by himself. Shouldn't we help them out? Are we running a charity? Our own lives are a mess, and we're supposed to feel sorry for others? Mom, don't forget, Thomas is Iris's ex-husband. His son has absolutely no blood relation to our family. Blood. That's all you ever think about." My mother-in-law slammed the seed tray on the table. "Iris feels guilty and wants to make it up to them. What's wrong with that? As her husband, can't you be a little more gracious? Do you have to make a huge scene over such a small thing and turn the whole family upside down? A small thing? Mom, this is about my son's entire future. You call that a small thing? How is it about his entire future? Sam is just a kid. What's the problem with waiting a couple of years for his residency? Is it going to ruin him? You're just selfish, only thinking about yourself and your son. You never think about Iris."
I'm selfish.
"I've been married to her for 5 years, crammed into a tiny 500 square foot rental, and when have you ever heard me complain? I scrimped and saved, never even buying myself new clothes, and put all that money toward her part-time master's degree and all her certifications. And for what? For this day. I waited forever for her to finally make it, and what's the first thing she does? She turns around and gives the biggest prize to someone else. How dare you say that?" My mother-in-law shot up, pointing her finger at my nose. "The money you spent was all earned by my daughter. She feeds you, she clothes you. Isn't that enough? Now you think you can dictate her life choices? Let me tell you something, Leo Bates. Iris runs this house. What she decides goes. Your job is to just go along with it." Just then, the door opened. Iris was back, her face flushed from drinking. When she saw me, her expression darkened. "Leo, what are you doing here, making a scene?" My mother-in-law rushed over to her as if she'd found her savior. "Daughter, you're back. Look at this husband of yours." I tried to reason with him, but he just wouldn't listen. He keeps saying you've wronged him, that our family has wronged him, making a huge fuss over a residency spot. Iris looked at me, her face a mask of exhaustion. "Can you just stop it? I was celebrating with my colleagues. It's important for work. But you? First, you call and yell at me, and now you're here yelling at my mom. What is it you really want?" "What do I want?" "Iris, I just want what belongs to my son. I told you it's temporary. As soon as Cody's college applications are done, it'll be your turn. Why won't you listen? I don't believe you."
Esther here.
"I need a straight answer from you today. Are you going to change the names on the sponsorship or not?" She probably felt like she was losing face, especially in front of her mother. I said no, and I mean no. It's already been decided. Making a scene won't change anything. Fine, Iris. You said it. I looked at her, Then at her mother standing beside her and said, "Word by word, you're going to regret this." Regret it? Let me tell you, Leo, the best thing I ever did was help Cody. The thing I regret most is marrying you in the first place. My mother-in-law chimed in, "Exactly. He brings you no luck at all. Just dead weight holding you back." Watching the two of them, a mother-daughter duo singing the same tune, the last bit of warmth in my heart vanished. I didn't argue anymore. I just turned and walked away. Behind me, I heard Iris's irritated voice. "Where are you going now? Don't be crazy. It's late." I didn't look back. Crazy? Yes, I was crazy. But my madness was just beginning. I went back to our tiny 500-square-foot rental. The apartment was small and cluttered, feeling cramped and oppressive. Sam was already asleep, his little body curled up on the bed, sleeping soundly. I sat on the edge of the bed, watching his peaceful face, my heart twisting in knots. Why should the son I had poured my entire being into raising have to step aside for some stranger? Iris made it sound so simple, just wait a few years. But the city's policies changed every day. Who knew what things would be like in a few years? What if she just threw up her hands and said it was impossible? Then my son and I would be tethered to her in this city forever, permanent outsiders. No, I absolutely could not let that happen. I opened my laptop and started doing research. Immigration, moving abroad, studying overseas. As I went through the information, my path became clearer and clearer. Paris. My close friend Mike had moved there on a skilled worker visa a couple of years ago. He said the environment was great, the benefits were good, and it was especially friendly to children. I found his contact info and gave him a video call. He was surprised to see me. "Leo? What's up? Why the sudden call?" I didn't beat around the bush. I told him everything about Iris and the residency situation. He was furious. Is this woman out of her mind? She has her own son but wants to raise her exes? And you're a fool for putting up with her. Why are you still with a woman like that? "I'm planning to divorce her," I said calmly. "I wanted to ask you, is it realistic for me to emigrate to Paris with my son?" Mike paused, his expression turning serious. "Leo, have you really thought this through? This is a huge deal." "I've never been more sure of anything," I said, looking at his face on the screen. "I can't let Sam's future be ruined by Iris. And I can't keep wasting my own life like this." Mike was quiet for a moment, then nodded. "All right, since you've made up your mind, I support you. I'll talk to the immigration consultant I used and see what the fastest way is for your situation." "Money isn't an issue," I said. "I owned a small apartment that my parents had bought for me before I got married. It wasn't big, but in our hometown it was worth a good $100,000. That was my leverage." "Okay, I'll get in touch with them as soon as possible. But what about your end? Are you just going to tell her straight up?" "No," I said, shaking my head. "If I tell her now, she'll definitely try to stop me. I need to get everything squared away before I let her know. I needed time. I needed to be left alone." The next day, Iris didn't come home. She sent a text saying her mom was sick from the stress I'd caused, and she had to stay with her at the hospital. At the end of the message, she called me a heartless bastard for not even sparing an old woman. I looked at the text without a flicker of emotion. Perfect. With her out of the house, it would be even easier for me to get things done. I immediately contacted a real estate agent in my hometown and asked them to sell my apartment. I had only one condition: a full cash offer as quickly as possible. Then, I requested a long leave of absence from work, citing a family emergency. I took Sam and went back to my hometown. My parents were livid after I told them what happened. "That damn woman. We never should have let you marry her." My dad immediately wanted to call Iris and give her a piece of his mind. I stopped him. "Dad, don't. Yelling at her won't do any good, it'll just make her suspicious. Right now, I need your help." I laid out my entire plan. My dad listened, silent for a long time, and then let out a deep sigh. "All right, since you've decided, your mom and I support you. If you need more money, we'll help you pull it together." "It's enough, Dad," I said, my eyes getting a little misty. "Selling the apartment will be enough." In the following days, I threw myself into the immigration preparations. contacting the consultant, gathering documents, getting all the necessary paperwork for Sam. Everything was done in secret. Iris would call occasionally, her tone still nasty, demanding to know why I wasn't back yet and asking if I was trying to destroy our family. I would just say calmly that my dad wasn't feeling well and I needed to stay and take care of him for a few more days. She didn't press further, probably thinking I'd run home to mommy and daddy and couldn't stir up any real trouble. All her energy was focused on waiting on her mother and sucking up to Thomas and his son. That was exactly what I wanted. The more she ignored us, the more smoothly my plan progressed. I watched as the immigration application moved forward, step by step. I watched as the sales contract for the apartment was signed. I watched the numbers in my bank account. I knew that freedom for me and Sam was close. A month later, the money from the sale of the apartment was in my account. I also got good news from the immigration consultant. My initial application had been approved, and I could soon move on to the next stage. Everything was happening faster than I could have imagined. I took Sam and returned to G-City. Iris had moved back into the rental from her mom's place. She didn't look happy to see me. "So you decided to come back? I thought you died back in your hometown." "My dad's feeling better, so I came back," I said calmly, putting my things away. She probably thought I'd surrendered, because her attitude softened a bit. "Don't hold a grudge against my mom. That's just how she is. In a couple of days, buy her something nice, come with me to see her and apologize. We can put this all behind us." I didn't say anything. The thought of me apologizing was laughable. "By the way, did you fill out the application for the points-based residency? Fill it out and submit it. The sooner you get in line, the better," she added. I took the crumpled application form out of my bag, smoothed it out, and placed it in front of her. "I don't know how to fill it out. You do it for me." She looked at my obedient demeanor, very satisfied. "Fine, leave it. I'll take care of it in the next few days." She thought I had caved. She thought that as long as she dangled a vague, distant promise in front of me, I would go back to being the same devoted, uncomplaining good husband who managed the household. She had no idea that all my compliance was just an act to lower her guard. For the next few weeks, I played the part of the perfect, repentant husband. I cooked dinner and waited for her to come home every day. When she complained about how hard work was, I'd give her shoulder and back massages. When she talked about how hard Thomas's son, Cody, was studying and how much potential he had, I just listened quietly. My submissiveness made Iris drop her guard completely. She started staying out more and more, sometimes saying it was overtime at work, other times that she was with clients. But most of the time, I knew she was at Thomas's. Thomas seemed to be enjoying this arrangement, too. He frequently posted vague, suggestive things on his social media feed. A picture of a lavish dinner, captioned, "The familiar taste, so good." Or a picture taken from the passenger seat, showing a corner of the steering wheel with the parking permit from Iris's company. He was provoking me. My coworkers saw it too, and some of them tiptoed around the subject with me. I would just smile. "She's busy with work, a lot of socializing." Everyone thought I was weak, pathetic. Only I knew what I was waiting for. I was waiting for an opportunity, a chance to get myself and Sam out of this swamp for good. The opportunity came soon enough. The immigration consultant notified me that my medical exams and interview were passed. All I had to do was wait for the final visa stamp and we could leave. At the same time, Iris got news that she was being sent on a month-long business trip to a branch office in another city. Before she left, she handed me the filled-out residency application. "I've already submitted it for you, so just wait patiently. While I'm gone this month, you take good care of Sam, and don't cause any more trouble for me." She patted my cheek, like you would a pet. I nodded and gave her a gentle smile. "I know. Have a safe trip." She walked out, dragging her suitcase, full of ambition. She thought she was heading off to build her career, to return to a life where she could have it all. She had no idea that when she left, she would never be able to come back to this home again. The day after she left, I received our passports with the Europe visas affixed inside. I immediately booked tickets for a flight to Paris 3 days later. I didn't go to work to resign in person, I just sent a text to my boss. I sold off every piece of furniture and every appliance we owned. I cleaned the rental apartment that had been my prison for 5 years until it was spotless, leaving no trace that we had ever lived there. I packed only 2 suitcases. One held clothes for me and Sam, the other held all my savings and our official documents. On the day of our departure, I dressed Sam in a new tracksuit. Sam, Dad's taking you to a really fun place. Okay? More fun than the amusement park? He asked, tilting his head up at me. Yes, more fun than the amusement park. We're going to a big house with sunshine and a grassy lawn, and no one will ever bully us again. He nodded, not quite understanding, and happily took my hand. Standing at the airport's floor-to-ceiling windows, I watched the planes taking off and landing. My phone rang. It was Iris. I silenced it and didn't answer. I knew she was just calling to check up on me, to ask what her son and I were doing. I imagined the look on her face when she returned in a month to an empty apartment. It was going to be spectacular. I took Sam's hand and walked toward the boarding gate. Ladies and gentlemen, the flight to Paris is now boarding. The sweet voice of the announcer echoed through the terminal. I glanced back one last time at the city where I had lived for 5 years. Goodbye, Iris. Goodbye to the miserable first half of my life. The plane landed at Paris International Airport. The moment I stepped out of the cabin and took my first breath of fresh, clean air, I felt my entire body relax. Mike was already waiting for us at the exit. He gave me a huge hug. Welcome to the new world, Leo. He had arranged everything for me, rented an apartment, contacted a school for Sam. My new life started more smoothly than I had imagined. Sam was incredibly adaptable. The diverse environment at his school helped him make new friends quickly. Back home, he had always been a little timid. Iris's chronic neglect and my mother-in-law's constant criticism had taken a toll on him. But here, he smiled more and more, and his confidence grew every day. As for me, after getting us settled, I started planning my own future. I signed up for a language class and began looking into small business opportunities. I got a new Europe phone number. Unable to reach me, Iris could only send me messages on WhatsApp. She started to sense something was wrong on the 3rd day of her trip. Leo, where are you? Why aren't you answering your phone? I called your parents and they said you took Sam and went back to your hometown? What are you trying to pull now? I'm warning you. Get your ass back here right now. Did you sell everything in the apartment? Leo, are you insane? I didn't reply to a single message. A month later, she returned from her business trip. She sent me a video. In the video was our empty rental apartment. Her voice in the recording was a shriek. Leo, where the hell are you? You emptied my home. You just wait. Immediately after, a WhatsApp call came from my mother-in-law. I answered. Leo, you godless man. You took all the money and ran, didn't you? My daughter's hard-earned money. Where did you take it? You get yourself back here right now. Mom, that was money from the sale of my premarital property. It has nothing to do with your family, I said coolly. You bastard. Where did you take Sam? He's our grandson. You bring him back. Sam's last name is Bates now. He has nothing to do with your family anymore. With that, I hung up. They started frantically messaging and calling me. I set all their numbers to silent. Occasionally, I would glance at their messages to see what new insults they'd come up with. It was just the usual venomous curses and impotent rage. Iris even went to my hometown. My parents, as I had instructed, just told her they didn't know anything and couldn't contact me. They couldn't find me and they couldn't find Sam. They were like 2 headless flies buzzing around. I knew they wouldn't give up easily, but there was an entire Pacific Ocean between us. No matter how angry they were, they couldn't hurt me anymore. My new life was busy and fulfilling. I soon received my maple leaf card. According to the rules, after living here for a certain number of years, Sam and I could apply for citizenship. The day I got my permanent residency, I took Sam out for a celebratory dinner. He held up his glass of juice and, with a serious expression, said to me, "Congratulations, Dad." I smiled and ruffled his hair. "Congratulations to you, too, my little warrior. Our good life was just beginning." 6 months later, Sam successfully obtained his Europe passport. The blue cover was new and crisp. I took a picture of him holding it, smiling so wide his eyes narrowed into slits. I set the photo as my WhatsApp profile picture. I knew that Iris would definitely see it. Sure enough, not long after, a video call came through. It was Iris. It was the first time I had answered her call since I left. When her face appeared on the screen, I was taken aback. She had lost a lot of weight. Her eyes were sunken, her face gaunt. She radiated an air of exhaustion and frustration. "Leo, you finally decided to answer my call," she said, her voice hoarse. "What is it?" I asked, leaning back on the couch, my tone calm. She noticed my surroundings, the spacious, bright living room, the green lawn visible through the picture window. Her eyes narrowed. "Where are you?" "Someplace you'll never find." She looked like she was about to curse but held it back. She had seen my new profile picture. "What's that in your profile picture? What is Sam holding?" "Passport," I said succinctly. "Passport? What passport? Is he going on a trip? Where are you taking him?" she asked in a rapid-fire burst. I didn't say anything. I just called Sam over. "Sam, show mommy your new passport." Sam was a little shy, but he obediently held the passport up to the camera, opening it to the page with his photo and name. "Canada," Sam said, pronouncing the country's name in the English he had just learned. Iris's eyes were glued to the screen, the color draining from her face. "Canada, a passport? What is this? Leo, what the hell is going on?" She finally broke down, screaming at the screen. "It's exactly what it looks like," I said. "Sam and I have emigrated." "Emigrated?" She looked as if she'd heard something from a fantasy novel.
Impossible.
"How could you possibly emigrate? The money? Where did you get the money?" "I sold the apartment my parents bought me." She was so angry she was speechless. It took her a moment to force out the words. "How could you not wait for me? We agreed, didn't we? After Cody's college applications were done, I was going to get you residency. How could you not wait for me?" I laughed. A long, loud laugh. "Wait for you? Iris, what was I supposed to wait for? For you to benevolently grant me a spot on the points-based waiting list? Or for you to build a happy little family with Thomas and his son, and then turn around and take pity on me and my son? That's not true. I have nothing to do with Thomas," she frantically argued. "Whether you do or not, you know the truth in your own heart. The moment you chose to gamble with my son's future for the sake of his son, you should have known this day would come. It was just temporary. Sam is still young, he could afford to wait," she repeated, still clinging to the same excuse. "He couldn't afford to wait, and neither could I. Iris, you never once asked me what I wanted, you just made decisions for me. Well, now I've made a decision for myself and for my son. This is a betrayal. We're supposed to be a family. You promised we would always be together," she shrieked. "A family?" I stopped smiling. "The moment you gave that residency sponsorship to Thomas's son, this family was already broken. Leo, you come back here. You give me back my son," she screamed, slamming her hand on a table. "That's impossible." I pulled Sam into my arms and said to the camera, "Listen to me, Iris. From this day forward, I, Leo Bates, and my son, Sam Bates, have absolutely nothing to do with you or your family. You can go back to your ex-husband, and you can spend the rest of your life with that son of yours who shares none of your blood." With that, I hung up, and then I blocked her. The world was finally, completely quiet. Iris's breakdown was just the beginning of her tragedy. After I blocked her, I never received another message from her. But my friend Mike, back in the States, became my personal news correspondent. The first bombshell was that the story of Iris giving the family sponsorship to her ex-husband's son had been leaked online. The whistleblower was a former coworker of mine who had never approved of Iris's actions. She compiled screenshots of the official residency list, photos of me and Sam living in our tiny rental, and the pictures Thomas had posted on his feed, and wrote a long, detailed post. In the article, she portrayed me as a long-suffering, devoted husband who sacrificed everything for his wife's career, only to be ruthlessly betrayed. Iris was painted as a heartless social climber, a modern-day villain who abandoned her own flesh and blood for her ex-husband and stepson. This kind of explosive family drama immediately ignited the fury of netizens. The article was shared wildly, and the comments section was filled with people cursing Iris out. Disgusting. She abandoned her own son to raise someone else's? Is this woman sick in the head? Isn't this just a classic gold digger? She used her husband's family to get ahead, and the second she got power, she turned on them. That ex-husband, Thomas, is no good either. He knew she was married with a family and still went after her. What a scumbag. Someone find them. These kinds of trashy people deserve to be cancelled. The scandal blew up, and even Iris's employer couldn't ignore it. The dream job, her iron rice bowl, was snatched away before she could even get comfortable. The company fired her, citing personal misconduct causing severe negative social impact. With her job gone, her residency status was, of course, revoked. When Mike told me this over the phone, he was laughing so hard he could barely breathe. You should have seen her, Leo. She looked like a stray dog. She went to her company to cause a scene, claiming she was framed, but the HR director just chewed her out and had her thrown out. Her ex, Thomas, and his son, Cody, lost their residency status too. Because of the whole mess, Cody bombed his college entrance exams and only got into some third-rate college. Thomas fights with Iris every day, blaming her for being useless and not even being able to keep her job. I listened quietly, feeling nothing. She brought it all on herself. If she hadn't been so selfish, so greedy, and had just honestly given the residency to me and Sam, she would still be the promising, successful professional with a bright future. But she chose the stupidest path possible. Oh, and by the way, your ex-mother-in-law, Mike added, heard her daughter got fired and lost her residency, and the shock of it all caused her to have a stroke. They saved her, but she's now paralyzed on one side of her body and can barely speak. So now Iris has no job, no money, and has to take care of a paralyzed mother. She's completely overwhelmed. And Thomas, seeing her downfall, wants nothing to do with her. They fight constantly about medical bills. I heard they're about to break up. It's true what they say. When you're down, everyone kicks you. I sighed. When she and her mother ganged up on me, they were so arrogant. Now karma has come for them. I looked out the window at the blue Paris sky and just felt incredibly fortunate. Thank God I got out when I did. Thank God I didn't waste the rest of my life in that pit of mud. The drama between Iris and Thomas ended faster and more violently than I had imagined. After Iris was fired and her mother was paralyzed, Thomas finally showed his true colors. He took what little money Iris had left and disappeared. Iris couldn't find him. She was left alone to care for her invalid mother, surviving on odd jobs. Mike said she probably hated me with a passion. She told anyone who would listen that I was a venomous husband who stole all her money and ruined her family. But no one believed her anymore. To everyone in her life, she was just a joke. Thomas's fate, however, was even more dramatic. You know those 2 apartments he supposedly owned in his hometown? The ones Iris had helped him pay for as compensation? Well, shortly after he vanished, the truth came out. Those 2 apartments weren't his at all. He had acquired them through a marriage scam with his supposed ex-wife. His ex-wife was actually just his long-term mistress. The 2 of them ran a scheme where Thomas would marry wealthy single women, find ways to transfer their assets into his name, and then divorce them, taking half the property. Cody wasn't his ex-wife's son, he was the son he had with his mistress. He had divorced Iris in the first place because he thought she was too poor and couldn't give him the life he wanted. The only reason he came back to her this time was because his mistress had racked up huge gambling debts and was on the run from loan sharks. He was desperate and thought of Iris, his reliable, easy-to-manipulate backup plan. He had planned to use Iris's residency and stable job to secure a foothold for himself and his son, wait for the trouble to blow over, and then figure things out. Who knew my actions would cause Iris's downfall as well? The best part is, his mistress owed a ton of money, and when the creditors couldn't find her, they followed the clues and came after Thomas. He sold the 2 apartments he scammed to pay off the debt, but it wasn't nearly enough. Now guys are showing up at his door every day, splashing paint, writing threats on his walls. He's too scared to even leave his house, Mike said, his voice full of glee. Then, out of desperation, he actually went back to find Iris. He lied to her, said Cody was diagnosed with a serious illness and needed a huge amount of money for surgery. He wanted Iris to take him back for old time's sake and, while she was at it, help him pay off his debts. Couldn't help but laugh at that. Those two were a match made in heaven, a pair of idiots. And then, I asked, and then Iris, who was already furious at losing everything because of you, had nowhere to vent her anger. She heard Thomas's story, remembered how he'd stolen her money and run off, and all that old and new hatred just exploded. She completely lost it on him. They got into a huge fight over money. In the chaos, Thomas grabbed a fruit knife from the table and accidentally stabbed her. It wasn't a fatal wound, but she bled a lot, and it was enough for an assault charge. Mike sighed dramatically. So now, Thomas is facing charges for assault, and on top of that, the old marriage scam case was reopened. With multiple offenses, he's probably going to be inside for a good few years. As for Iris, even though she's the victim, her reputation is completely ruined. No job, no family, her mom's an invalid, and she herself got stabbed. It's about as miserable as it gets. What goes around comes around. Karma's a bitch, huh? I listened quietly, my heart as still as a calm lake. I wasn't surprised at all by their downfall. One was supremely selfish, the other endlessly greedy. People like them, even without my intervention, would have eventually ruined their own lives for one reason or another. I was just the one who pressed the fast-forward button. By the way, Mike said, your ex-mother-in-law, now paralyzed and with no one to care for her, had someone get in touch with me. She wants to know if you, for Sam's sake, would be willing to send her some money for her retirement. I laughed. Tell her Sam's last name is Bates. He has nothing to do with her family anymore. You got it. That's all I needed to hear. After hanging up, I walked out of the cafe. The Paris evening sky was a canvas painted with the colors of sunset, breathtakingly beautiful. Sam's school was just around the corner. It was almost time for him to get out. I leaned against my car, watching the people come and go, a relaxed smile on my face. The cage that once trapped me had been broken by my own hands. The people who once hurt me had all received their just deserts. And I, at last, could take my child and breathe freely under the foreign sun, beginning our new, beautiful life. In the distance, the school bell rang. A crowd of children in school uniforms poured out of the gates, laughing and shouting. I spotted my Sam right away. He was running at the front of the pack, backpack bouncing, and when he saw me, he waved his arms and came flying toward me. Dad! His voice was clear and bright, full of joy. I opened my arms and caught him securely. Did you have a good day at school? Yes, he said, burying his head in my chest and nodding enthusiastically. I took his hand, and we walked toward our car. Dad, what are we having for dinner tonight? Whatever you want. I want your braised pork belly. Okay, we'll make it as soon as we get home. Two figures, one large and one small, cast long shadows in the warm glow of the setting sun. Warm and unwavering,